Wow.
Wow, this is some really deep stuff.
I don't know what just happened, but something happened inside of me. Something snapped, something sick.
I wasn't expecting that
either. Sorry.
It's okay. It's all right. It's beautiful.
Monster is like really small, but it had to become that to stop me.
And then the hurt child became present when you mentioned it.
And I didn't realize this until now.
There were things that I didn't remember until now.
Funny, I haven't seen that before.
It feels like I'm the monster. I'm kind of seeing images of things. Of a world where they can exist. This clarity brings all kinds of answers.
It's clear. She hugged me and then went back to her place, I guess, in my heart. Oh, it wants to come out. It wants to bippity boppity boop Cinderella me. She's melted into my chest. It's ooey gooey.
All week been finishing things, cleaning up more, started eating vegetables again last week. And it kind of just started happening. It's almost like I just finished going through a meditation session.
I feel light. When you hit that first joint, in the morning, and
I actually feel a lot more awake.
Wow, it's amazing to hear your voice. I really just first want to say thank you for this whole project. It's just been such a lifeline for me. It's you as a model of a practitioner is absolutely amazing with the compassion and just so much compassion and skill. And it's also amazing to have, sorry, what did you say?
I said, thank you.
Oh yeah. And it's also amazing to have just models of people practicing as patients or whatever, I don't know what clients. It's just so great to just I don't know, just make material, just make real that this is just something anybody can do in their own way.
Yes, that's what I wanted to find out. Can anybody do this?
Yeah, it is.
And it seems like so far,
a trip.
I keep getting the same answer about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I'm so glad you appreciate it, and that it's helping you, or that you're finding it useful. It's what I felt like. Why doesn't this exist? Why aren't people putting out, demos and calls? And so I just said, well,
the best things are they seem so obvious afterwards.
Yeah.
But it's really generous of you to kind of do this as a project without money being exchanged. It's really amazing.
Yeah, I really like it. Really like it.
Awesome.
And a lot in my life is changing and has changed since I started, and it's kind of like, well, I definitely want to keep doing this. I don't know what else I want to do, and that changes, but this has felt right since the start.
Awesome.
And good for me as much as anybody,
That level of contact with one's own parts, I know, is the warmest, best feeling in the world. And that you get to also share it with others is, experiencing that contact with others while they're contacting their parts. And it's just really beautiful.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, so welcome.
Yeah, I started this codependent parts group on the Discord because
Yes.
I was running into I still feel like I'm up against just like this not incomplete self-belief and self-responsibility, and I give up some of my power to others, and so and that's what sort of caused me to stop working with my IFS practitioner who I was working with, because we kept getting in conflict about I felt like I couldn't talk about issues related to other people at all. And, he kept trying to get me to just turn inside and work on my parts. So that is something that, is that's where I'm trying to stay able to really, really keep at that project of developing relationships with my parts.
Okay. When you've listened to calls of mine, do I do something different that you're seeing? Because I feel like that's what I do, is just I'm trying to get people to take that U-turn. So do you feel like you have an expectation of a different way here, or that I'm already doing something in a different style from that practitioner?
Yeah, well, I just I'm not I don't feel mad or victimized by my practitioner. I just felt like it was too expensive for me to be able to afford unproductive sessions. But the thing that I find different is he absolutely, I know he understands all parts are welcome, but I didn't feel like all parts of mine were welcome.
Okay.
And there was just I kept just getting defensive. And it just short-circuited my process. So
definitely.
I do have parts that feel victimized by others, and I think part of feeling that victimization is actually important, because I just spent most of my life just overriding things that weren't working well and just telling myself that everything was perfect. So part of that is just a stage that I kind of had to feel something.
Okay.
But I obviously want now I don't want to be feeling things that happen that other people do can take me down. I want to feel like I can manage whatever is happening in my system and relating to others.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. Just thinking of ways that I can not make whatever mistakes or unwelcomeness that another practitioner had made with you. You're welcome to talk about others, and all your parts are welcome here.
Thank you.
And if it ever feels like they're not, please tell me. Or you can nudge one of the other listeners to tell me.
No, I mean, I think you're really sweet about all of them. And I hope I can like take care of whatever parts of mine like get overwhelmed by feeling of victimization or collapse or like not being able to keep in self, like that will.
Mm-hmm. Okay. How would you like to have a minute of meditation before we get started finding a part?
That sounds good.
Okay, I'll set a timer. All right. So, do you know which part you'd like to get to know better or change your relationship with?
Well, I mean, one that I know is like really powerful that I've made a little bit of headway with, but I know there's so much more there. And I've seen it in like different forms, and be nice to like be able to kind of develop a more consistent relationship with it.
Mm-hmm.
Is my sleepy part.
Sleepy.
Yeah. It comes like it protects from like my judgmental part
Mm-hmm.
that like really sort of brutalizes myself.
Mm-hmm.
And it tries to like make me happy by putting me out.
Mm-hmm.
But it also comes like it interferes with my like my productivity, because I sort of, when I'm blended with it, I kind of drag it around and I go slow. Or when things get like complicated and difficult, it just takes over.
Okay.
Another option is my, it's sort of related, is a frustrated part. I really struggle with like when things get intense. And right now in my life, things are intense, like financially, family wise, just everything is very intense. I get like, it just, I get this sort of like conspiracy theory that the universe is kind of coming down on me. And I get like exasperated and frustrated, and it comes out as like, you know, swearing or, and it's just like, it's not the way I want to be like emoting during challenging times. I want during those times to like just sort of take them as opportunities to like rise, you know, meet the challenge, breathe through it, just do the best I can, accept. So those two are kind of alive right now in me. I don't know, maybe feeling wise, like in my body, I'm probably closer right now to the frustrated, like this, you know, that gets triggered from any sense of overwhelm. They're related in that the sleepy part kind of protects against like confusion and uncertainty, and the frustrated part protects against overwhelm and confusion. But they're related with respect to like feeling like uncertainty and like I don't know how to do this because it's never been done before and I've never done it before.
Were you saying the sleepy part protects from the confusion?
Yeah, I think they, yeah, it like if I hit something, I don't know and I don't have a direction to go through it, the sleepy part will just try to make me happy.
And the judgmental part comes up and brutalizes when that confusion is there too. It's saying, why aren't you handling this, or something like that? And then the sleepy part.
Yeah, the judgmental part can be a trigger for the sleepy part, but the judgmental part is like polarized with the sleepy part, where the sleepy part is like trying to protect the judgmental part, but the judgmental part then is like fighting against the sleepy part.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I lost my focus for a moment when my pen ran out of ink, but I got a new one. So the one you feel like is most alive in you now is which of these?
Probably like the one that has like angry frustration from overwhelm.
Right. Okay.
It's probably most concrete right now.
Okay.
And I can just, there's just like a direct line into that. Fuck,
Okay. How do you notice it in your body?
It feels like my head's kind of blowing off. Like my forehead, my ears, like there's steam coming out of them. Where it feels like I should be, maybe like bringing that energy inside in these times of like intensity. Instead, I'm like blowing it out. My ears and my head.
Okay.
And like the sounds I make will be like actually like vocalizing swears and stuff. But it's my ears that hear them, and that feels more, it feels like it's there more than it is like actually in my throat, or it feels like it's in my ears and my head, like blowing off. Like that emoji is just like so actually exactly.
Okay. The head blown emoji.
Yeah, I'm like blowing it out. And and it's not, it's like externalizing it, and when I need to be preserving that energy inside.
Okay. How do you feel towards it now?
I feel like it's loud. I feel like it's strong. I kind of sense that it's about 12, maybe like 11. That it has a lot of energy it doesn't know what to do with.
Okay. And as you're noticing more about it, maybe 11, 12 has a lot of energy. How do you feel towards it?
I feel like I'm supposed to have like love and compassion for it. Do I actually feel that?
Yeah, what do you actually feel?
Yeah, I feel like I might need to bring it a little closer to me. I feel that.
You feel like you might need to bring it closer in order to feel that? Okay.
Like, it's a little bit wild, and it's hard for me to like connect to it.
Okay.
Like, it's a little googly-eyed.
You could be right that you may need to bring it closer. Do you have any feelings towards it from the distance it is?
I do feel some sadness come up, that it's like distant, that it's sort of out in the wild.
Okay. So is that kind of sadness about the distance, like sadness that there isn't a stronger connection there?
That's a good question.
Or does it feel like the part's sadness? Is it sad because it's distant? I know that might sound like a tricky question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to identify if it's like a compassionate sadness or if it's one of the many other flavors.
I'm trying to get a sense for the sadness. It's like between me, myself, and the part somehow. And is it that the part is sad that it's distant, or is it me feeling a compassionate sadness that the part is kind of lost? Sure yet.
Or is it some other part? Could be some other part. And it's okay if you're not able to pinpoint it.
Give me a minute. Okay, I think the frustrated part that gets overwhelmed, the part that gets frustrated in overwhelm, is the same part that is judgmental.
Okay.
And the sadness is tied to that frustration being directed inward.
Okay.
Being it's emoted outward, but it's actually because of self-judgment. It's like,
yes, I think I get it. Would you say that it's judging of another part, and it's that part that is sad? Like, is there a part that's
I think
getting
the sadness is like just tenderness about like the brutality.
Okay. Yeah. It's all making sense to you?
Yeah.
Okay. Are these parts aware of you there?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay.
They're aware of me like just holding it together.
Can you say more about what you mean by holding it together?
That I'm keeping them inside. That I'm not just blowing off the overwhelm outward into frustration. That I'm staying with them.
Do they feel like that's a good thing, that they feel like that's self's presence that's staying with them, and they're happy about that? Or is there some resistance?
Well, no, I think
I can ask the question another way.
yeah.
Does the one who's holding it together feel like compassionate self? Or does that feel like a holding it together part?
Well, it feels like compassion itself.
Okay.
Holding it together. Yeah, there might be some other parts like popping up, but it does feel like it is self that is grounding the whole thing. Like it feels a little chaotic in there, but still grounded in self.
Okay. Can you ask the judgmental or the frustrated one how it experiences that grounding, holding it together?
Yeah. It's a little bit it's a little like deer in the headlights about it. Like it's just sort of like holding a stare to try to stay to like process. This is the frustrated part that like in overwhelm just sort of blows it off, blows off its energy, and it's just sort of staring at itself like, okay, I can try to stay here. I'm just a little mystified.
Okay. And how do you feel towards that part? The frustrated one?
Well, I feel like it makes sense that being sort of mystified is connected to like being overwhelmed and frustrated. There wasn't a lot of that at this age.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lot of like sort of control, and I know this, and
okay. So you're saying that it makes sense somewhat why this part might be feeling that way.
why it might like feel like staying sort of grounded in self in the midst of overwhelm is a mystifying thing. Yes, it makes sense.
Mm-hmm. And how do you feel towards the part?
Gosh, I feel very loving, like I appreciate that it's intrigued by the capacity of self. Uh, let's see. Um, I don't know. It feels good to have like a part be, interested and curious
Okay.
amidst uncertainty.
Mm-hmm.
That seems very valuable to
Do you
stay
mean
curious.
the frustrated part? Do you mean the frustrated part is having some interest and curiosity?
Yeah, the frustrated part went from like being frustrated externally and just to like, okay, I'm sort of mystified that self is there and curious about this capacity that self has to
Mm-hmm.
stay grounded even when things are really wild and uncertain.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be overwhelming. And it feels just sweet to me that this part's curiosity.
Hmm. Okay.
That the frustration can sort of be when turned in internal
Mm-hmm.
can be turned into curiosity, that energy.
Are you feeling curious about it?
Yeah. I guess I'd like to understand better, like, um, more about like what maybe about the frustration and like how that worked for it, wherever it was stuck.
Okay. So anything else you're noticing? Anything that you feel like turning towards, or that is calling your attention?
I'm feeling a little bit more into the sort of like wounded feeling of like
coming.
where the frustration connects to like being very judgmental against like internally against myself.
So you're feeling kind of the sensations of the part that has been wounded in that way?
Yeah.
Okay. And how does the judgmental or frustrated part feel about you kind of glimpsing that now? Is that something that it was hoping to show you and wanted, or is that something that just kind of sprang up?
Well, I think it wanted to show me, how being frustrated protects like this self-judgment. And I'm just like giving a little space because myself can can allow the frustration without or can allow the like myself can like take care of the overwhelm without frustration or self-judgment.
Okay. Will you say more about what you're envisioning or what you mean by self taking care of the overwhelm without judgment? I'm just trying to understand the lexicon here.
Yeah, the overwhelm, like I either would blow it out, like as like blah, the universe, blah, blame, crap, or like it would be like crap, you screwed up again. And it's because like, you know, when things got overwhelming, I didn't know where else to turn. But like, if I give space for just like in between those two, I can realize that like, you know, there's going to be uncertainty and there's going to be like pressure and there's all that. It's just like, I can just give space. And the overwhelm and the frustration and the self-judgment, I can like, it can be there without being me blending with them.
Yeah. And so that's something you've had experience with, is providing the space for those parts to be there in a not blended way.
Well,
something.
I think I'm doing that right now.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, I'm feeling like an intensity of like just sort of breathing to make this space.
Okay. I'm listening. I'm taking lots of notes. I know I've been kind of quiet. I'm just.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just trying to unblend and maybe I can learn more like about where this sort of like frustration or deer in the headlights or self-criticism, like, I don't know. I just don't think there was much space in between those things.
Right.
It was pretty blended. And that's why I keep like emoting these things when I'm like, it wouldn't be my choice to be like saying fuck in front of my daughter or whatever it is. About a little stupid, like, nothing.
This might be a silly question, but what would be so bad about saying fuck in front of your dad over
my daughter? Nothing? I said.
Sorry, your daughter.
Oh, well, it's just sort of I feel like I want to have more patience with like mistakes in myself. I want to be just like jumping to like, fuck. That's sort of a state of overwhelm.
Okay.
And, you know, it's like sort of emoting to like nobody, but like other people hear it. And it doesn't feel like self-responsibility to me. Like, I don't want to be like that, to be like what I'm bringing to others.
Yeah. And why not? What would be bad about that? Emoting to nobody and other people hear it.
Well, it's like sort of a fantasy that like somebody else is going to make me feel better. When it has nothing to do with them.
So would you say there's some pain around when that fantasy is clear, that here I am and emoting and no one's coming to make me feel better?
Yeah.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, I do think that is a place that I have met.
Yeah.
These young parts.
Yeah. Those parts are welcome also.
Yeah. I mean, I think when these parts were really young, they didn't have like tools to make themselves feel better except for like falling asleep.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you feel towards those parts? The young ones that didn't have the tools?
Yeah. Well, I definitely feel like blended sadness with them.
Okay.
They
will you let them know that we can get to know them?
Yeah.
And the easiest way, or maybe the only way I know how, is if they're not blending. And that if we keep working together, I'm happy to put them on the list and help aim us to getting to know them, because they matter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just let them know that you feel their sadness, and we know it's important.
Yeah.
How do they respond to that?
They're trying to like be present with it. They don't know like a lot of presence.
Right. Right. And that's something that I want to help bring self-presence to those parts. Give them their time, come to understand them, learn about what they need.
Yeah.
And it is sad if they haven't felt a lot of that. So we can acknowledge that and let them know that we won't forget about them.
Yeah, there's a lot of I'm back to like where I started in the body, which is like that loud calling. And no, like, and it was sort of I think, yeah. And it would actually push people away, I think.
Which would push people away?
The the noise.
Mm-hmm.
The loud calling
Mm-hmm.
for help.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I imagine a lot of these parts have a similar experience where the frustrated cursing might push people away, the loud calling for help might push people away, and even I suspect that the holding it together might push people away. The suppressing, if that does happen, and it happens in me, can also be a source of disconnect. If I sent you this call, would you listen back to it? Like if I sent it this week?
Sure.
I'll tell you why I'm asking.
Okay.
If it's okay, if I can just speak about some of what I'm sensing here.
Yeah.
Okay. I am sensing that there is a hold it together part.
Uh-huh.
And I think that I could be totally wrong. And you know your system way better than I do. But I'm going to keep looking out for it. I'm wondering if some of the feelings of whoever's saying that I need to be reserving that energy, and I shouldn't be emoting that way, and to emote that way, that just is a fantasy that brings on more pain. To me, that sounds kind of like a managerial protector. The hold it together part is what I'm calling it.
Okay.
And I can share the call, or I can kind of say more about what I'm sensing, or I will also listen back and see if I'm thinking the same thing tomorrow. But that's kind of where I am in this.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
I could be totally wrong.
no, it's a good question. Because if it is a managerial part, it's very powerful, very self-like.
Yes. And that's why I was asking about, like, how are these other parts responding to it? You know, you say deer in the headlights, or you said that this frustrated part, it's curious about it. It's curious about this other one, and it's kind of mystified by it. You know, to me that might be because there is this other kind of powerful part. You know, when I was asking maybe some about the curiosity, it's kind of like, well, I guess I could learn more about it. And so I wasn't quite hearing what I'm usually, looking for, of that self energy of this compassion, and love for a part, and deep curiosity and patience. Even the phrase, hold it together. That's typically, I mean, just in my mind, that's kind of a phrase of yeah, of kind of a manager. Managers hold things together. Kind of put a net around things, and make sure that parts don't pop out. And I think of self more as a listening, loving leader who is more about understanding parts, and the space it provides is more than just take a deep breath so I don't shout space. It's a loving space, and a listening space, and and this frustrated part needs me, and it needs something from me, and it has a story to tell, and I can be there for it. So that's kind of some of the vibes I'm feeling around for when I'm looking for self energy.
Yeah, that's really, really insightful, I think. I know I have like fixing parts.
Sure.
That might be connected in this way to the manager.
Yeah, I think we all do.
Yeah, and I mean this manager also doesn't want me to like screw up my relationship here by like not being able to access. Yeah, I mean, sometimes like I get blended and I don't know if I'm in self, right? And so there's a manager probably trying to like make sure I don't screw this up like I did with my previous, practitioner.
Yeah. Okay.
Where I would get blended during and not be able to sort of.
It's really okay for you to be blended when talking with me. If people weren't blended when talking with me, I'd be out of a job. I'd be out of a hobby. So I don't believe you've screwed anything up, and I'm not sure that you could if you're showing up and you're being honest about what's going on with you, which sounds to me like you are. If anything, I think I screwed up today being late.
Oh gosh, that was nothing.
But yeah, I really appreciate the way that you showed up. I appreciate each of your parts, and I appreciate you listening to my own theories, even if they're wrong or not helpful. And I'm sorry if that's the case.
No, I definitely think there could be like self-like stuff going on here. Although I mean the other stuff is those were parts.
Yes.
But then they're yeah, but was it all protectors, and that was that sort of exile stuff beneath.
Well,
I think we touched upon it a little bit, but there may be a
when you mentioned the pain of the fantasy of calling out and there being no one.
Yeah.
Okay, so here I'm thinking we have an exile, and where there's an exile, there are protectors, or maybe vice versa.
Yeah.
And so
the noisy,
go ahead.
The noisy protector that emotes and nobody, and sort of pushes people away with the noise, the yelling, the calling. That's definitely a protector. And then the protector that puts that part to sleep.
Right.
Is another one. Yeah. And that's the exile, is the locked in the room by herself, ages toddler on. Yes.
Yeah.
And actually, I've met. Yeah. I mean, I've always heard I was a colicky baby, so it probably goes younger, but I don't know if I've so much met that age yet.
Okay.
But yes, these are all surrounding that exile.
Okay. If you'd like to keep working with me, we can get to all of them. I'd like to. Yeah.
Yeah. So is that sort of a good, like, if I know I have this exile that has some pain, is that a good place to sort of like center and then like sort of attend to the protectors surrounding it as needed, but like sort of center on the pain and the exile. Is that sort of a path? Like a way to sort of
I think
stay
it's
on
really,
track
I think
on
it's
the
really
healing
great. I think it's really great to know that the pain of the exile is tied to this protector and that protector. And when I'm thinking about a path forward, it's starting with protectors. So
starting with protectors?
Starting with protectors, yes. So I might think of an exile, not so much as something I'm centering on, but kind of beyond the horizon of protectors. You know, I'm aiming to get towards an exile that I'm kind of hearing in the distance. So I might be homing in that way, but I'm not necessarily starting there, if that makes any sense. I don't know if we're crossing.
Well, the homing sort of. Yeah. Okay. Well, we've got an exile and a manager definitely that are fruitful for next time if I'm able to.
They're all fruitful. They're all valuable.
Yeah.
They're all there for a good reason. Yeah. They all deserve our time and attention and self's presence. You're capable of that. And I'd love to join you on that journey.
Oh boy, that is so generous. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Super cool. Super cool.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Really thank you.
Admire you doing it. I admire that you've had this experience of being with an IFS therapist or coach or whatever, and having that experience of, okay, this isn't quite working for me, and sticking with it because you and your parts deserve it.
Super. Awesome. Okay. Thank you, James.
Okay. Right. So we'll do it again sometime if you'd like. I'll send you more links. We can get you on the calendar. And
okay.
Do you have any questions? Do any parts have any questions, concerns, anything that we missed, or
I don't know. I just feel
anything else?
I just feel like kind of open in my heart and in my body right now, which
beautiful
is a great place to be ready for whatever comes next.
Great.
Okay.
If you do have any questions, if anything comes up, the fastest, best way to contact me is through a direct message on Discord.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, James.
Okay. I'll be in touch. Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
Good night. Do you want to help bring more self-energy to the world? If you'd like to participate in calls or help out with this project in any way, I'd love to hear your ideas. Join the Discord server or contact me at james@liveifs.com. A huge thanks to our audio engineer, Yvonne, for your care and diligence in editing the calls. To every caller for your courage in sharing some of your parts. And to anyone out there getting to know their internal system, keep going. Who knows? That might be the most selfless, helpful thing you can do for others, and you're the only one who can do it. If you'd like to see us reach the largest audience, we must please the almighty suggestion algorithms at iTunes and YouTube. And they don't care about the power of IFS. They're looking for likes and shares and comments, and the sooner the better. Follow the links in the show notes right here in your podcast player to make your wishes known. And now, a minute of meditation. Or if you prefer, pull over. You can do it in 60 seconds. Just click one of those links. They're right there, and give us a like or a 5-star rating. It would really help. If you think this project is helping people, you're helping people by sharing it. Thank you.